Welcome to our Rotherham SEND video about feeling prepared for a tribunal hearing. From lodging your appeal to now, you'll have become really familiar with all the information both you and the local authority have submitted in readiness for your appeal. You may have also been working together with the local authority on the working document if your appeal involves sections B, F, C, D, G or H. You'll have submitted all the evidence you feel is useful for your appeal, and you will have also read all the evidence that the local authority have submitted too. So now what? In this video, we're going to have some top tips about how you can feel more prepared for your hearing. In the last few weeks or days running up to your hearing date, we suggest you start your final preparations. First of all, have a look at the tribunal bundle. You can also take a look at our video about tribunal bundles that's on our website and ensure you're familiar with the contents of the bundle, and you can find information within it quickly and easily, and any documents or specific paragraphs you wish to mention or ask questions about are also highlighted and tabbed for your quick access. You might also want to take a look at our video about witnesses for the SEND Tribunal. Make sure your witnesses have the correct link to access the hearing. Make sure they remain committed to attend and have a copy of the SEND bundle as well, and also that they've thought about a private space in which they can work from on the day so they're not disturbed. This might be particularly the case if they're school staff members working from a school building. If you know you intend to ask your witnesses specific facts or figures such as the number of children in a class, etc., you may wish to let them know in advance to have this type of information to hand on the day. Some hearings also take the full day, so make sure your witnesses are aware of this and that they're prepared to stay. Please think about your own commitments and needs for the hearing day. Tribunal hearings can take the full day, and as such, please make sure you've got any childcare or school runs covered by a suitable alternative person. Think about snacks and drinks and your lunch break. Although you may be accessing the hearing from the comfort of your own home because it's now a video link, you will still be expected to stay on the hearing link until the judge directs otherwise. It may be helpful to have a drink of water close by for the hearing itself, and to have a pre-prepared sandwich in the fridge for when the judge provides a break. If you're planning on accessing the hearing from a different space to your home, for example in the school, then again make sure you have lunch and drinks with you, as you may not be provided with enough time to nip out to buy a sandwich. Consider which device you'll be using on the day of the hearing. Ideally, we recommend you make use of a laptop or a larger screen tablet. However, we do appreciate that not all families will have access to such devices. Although it's possible to access the hearing via a mobile phone, if this is the only device you have available, you might wish to speak to the supporter or your witnesses, for example, a member of school staff, to see if it would be possible to share the same space or device on the day. Be prepared to speak at the hearing. Although each SEND tribunal may run a little differently, the judge might ask you to say a little bit about your child or young person, so be prepared to share some key points about them. If you think you're going to find this overwhelming on the day, or you worry your words will fail you, then you may wish to jot a few points down in readiness. You can then have this handy on the day for the hearing for your reference. Please be aware this is not your opportunity to retell all the details which led to the appeal being lodged. The tribunal will have already have a view of this from the evidence that they've read. Your opening statement should be concise and to the point, and might include things such as why you're appealing, what you hope to achieve, what you've done to try and resolve the case before going to the tribunal, for example if you've had any meetings with the local authority, and to briefly explain the evidence you're using to support your appeal. Start to think carefully about any questions you have about the evidence in the bundle. From reading the bundle before the hearing date, you may have been left with some questions that have yet to be answered. You'll be provided with an opportunity to ask these of the local authority or of any witnesses during the hearing. As such, you may find it helpful to make a note of these questions before your hearing date. As you don't know in advance what order the tribunal will call each witness to speak, it may be helpful to have a sheet of paper for each witness and local authority with your questions on. So for example, here we've got questions for the local authority, questions for the Educational Psychology Service, and questions for the schools, and they're all on different sheets of paper. If a question relates to a specific point in the bundle, you may wish to make a note of this too, so you can direct all participants at the tribunal hearing to that point. You may also wish to make sure your bundle has this marked with a sticky tab on the side and highlighter for your ease of access as well, so you can find it quickly. So for example, on one of your educational psychologist questions, you may have in your report on page 4, it mentioned my child would need enhanced staffing. Can you explain what was meant by this, please? And what you'll see in the bundle here is that the educational psychology report has a sticky note at the side, just highlighting so I can find that page quickly. And the part that's highlighted is the bit that says enhanced staffing is needed to support this child. Sometimes what you might find is your questions that you've already put down in your preparation have already been asked by the judge. The SEND Tribunal uses an inquisitorial approach. This means the judge and other panel members will have already read all the evidence and will have made a note of any points they feel they need to explore further. As such, you may find that the questions that you've prepared have already been asked by the panel before you're provided with an opportunity to ask them yourself. To help keep an eye on this, you may wish to have your questions in front of you when the panel is asking theirs and tick them off if they have been asked already, so you know which ones are left to cover yourself. Communication with your supporter or witnesses during the hearing. As tribunals are now online, you may not necessarily be in the same room as your supporter or your witnesses, so jotting notes down to each other during the day may not be the most appropriate or even possible. You might find it helpful to have a group chat on a platform such as WhatsApp, which will allow some ongoing communication between yourself and your supporter during the process. However, please be aware that your phone will need to be on silent during the hearing, so you may wish to keep this face up on the day so you can see messages coming in. We would advise that you don't use the same phone to access the hearing link as you do for your WhatsApp messages, so you don't lose the hearing link by mistake or find yourself getting flustered trying to switch between screens or different apps. Be prepared to make some closing comments. At the end of the hearing, you'll be provided with an opportunity to share a closing statement. This is your opportunity to reinforce your appeal and summarise the points you've made in the appeal before the panel leave the hearing to discuss their outcome based on the evidence that's been presented. You may find it helpful to consider your closing statement before the hearing, write it down, and then read this at the end so you will have a well thought out statement, coming away from the day feeling that you've put your case across well. However, be prepared to add or slightly amend your closing statement to include any vital points you've heard during the day. We hope you found this video helpful to prepare you for your final hearing of the tribunal.